Are we recording?
Yes.
Oh, that's what that meant. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Two Straws.
Hey.
So it's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks.
I'm
1 week into my victory bender.
Yes.
Victory bender.
And what has been that?
I mean, not anything crazy. Like, I feel like it used to be way worse after a win, but now that I'm a little older, a little more mature, just a few drinks, a few drinks on the hour every hour. That's about it. Yeah. I just stick to one thing. I'm just an alcohol girl. So that's mostly, that and, a lot of smoking, but my lungs can take it right now.
Yes, they can. They're well conditioned.
Yeah, they're ready. They were ready for the burn. So, yeah. After this week, I'll be back to train. Actually, I already got a couple sessions in, but it's not really the same. I feel like after a fight, you go through this senioritis.
What's that like?
Just when you're in training, you're just like, I could finish the takedown. I could just get sprawled on and hang out here for a while. It's not a big deal. You know?
There's no sense of urgency. There's no need to win.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in fight camp, there's a lot of, pressure and you want to do everything right because what if you don't, you're not going to be able to pull it off in the fight. That's my mental conversation.
It's so scary.
Yeah, it really is.
I really love training outside of fight weeks or outside of fight camps.
Isn't it the best?
It's so nice. It's like a little mini vacation. You're just there to take it in.
You remember why you enjoy the sport?
Yeah. I'm like, oh wow, I actually enjoy doing this. I enjoy grappling. I like hitting people.
I'm choosing to be here.
Yeah, I'm here for fun. It's a big difference from when you're in a fight camp. So
absolutely,
it's nice to finally be out of it. It was my first fight camp in a little while too. I had a fight camp early this year, and then my second fight this year was just like, hey, you're fighting. So.
Well, you were supposed to fight, and then they were like,
yeah,
they were like,
you don't need a camp. Yeah, I know you're thinking about starting camp right now, but we're just going to go ahead and let you fight now.
You're better that way.
Yeah, I know you haven't done shit for this camp, so we're going to go ahead and make you do it now.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah, at least I knew who it was going to be. It would be cool if in the future I got short notice fights, but I knew who it was going to be. So they're just like, hey, you're fighting Mackenzie Dern in 2 days. I'm like, bet, I've been ready. You guys told me 6 months ago that this would happen at some point. So at least I knew. At least I had a name.
I like that. So is there, I don't know, I guess, is there any, not necessarily name, but is there any kind of stylistic matchup that you're like, oh, that's going to be a rough short notice fight?
I think maybe the grappling specialist.
Okay.
Just because it's something that I'm not as used to as going with a striking specialist.
Okay.
So because I feel like I'm a striking specialist, even though nobody gives me the credit I deserve. But that's what I started with. So I'm most comfortable on my feet. But if I'm fighting someone who is good at sports jiu-jitsu or a really high level wrestler or something like that, judo, I feel like I could squirm my way out of a judo cut. I feel like I could get away, wiggle away from that. But still, if they've been doing it at a high level and it's grappling oriented, then I do feel like I need a little more time just to figure out their special moves and make sure I have all the defenses for that. Because then I kind of get you can get a little lost in the techniques when they know exactly what they're doing because they've been doing it for 10, 20 years and you're still kind of in the 5-year mark.
I understand that.
So that one is a little frustrating for me. But it worked out with Loopy because, she's a good wrestler, but I don't think she ever got to that D1, D2 level where she's going up against the best in the world at wrestling and has proven herself against the top tier. And I think with someone like Virna, who has just competed in sports jiu-jitsu a lot. Someone like Mackenzie Dern, who has competed a lot. Like, there are people who have gone up against all the best in the world. So you got to know at least a few tricks to get out of their, like, what do you call it? Just like their high percentage moves.
I got you. I understand that.
What about you?
I think that...
Who do you want the longest camp against?
I want the longest camp against probably a really good striker with good takedown defense. Yeah. Because I don't necessarily have the strongest wrestling. I'm not like a striker, but I think that I can mix things up, well enough. But I definitely think somebody with really good takedown defense who wants to stay on the feet, who's a really good striker, I think that gives me a challenge that I'd like a little bit more time for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we got down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with that fight. I just felt like your fight gave us a lot of clues on how to attack.
For sure.
On what to defend. I was mad though that she didn't throw any leg kicks. I was so mad at that because I had
Why?
I had so many answers for it. Like, I'm like, if this bitch came me in the leg, I would have knocked her the fuck out, and I would have been like, "That's for Jesse, bitch." I was so ready. Like, we had so many cool counters for that calf kick. Like, you saw some of them, like the return fire.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
If I had hit her with the return fire.
I just really like the checking really hard.
Yeah.
Because that really sucked.
Yeah.
just drilling those, just like one time drilling those, I was like, I don't want to anymore. It really hurts.
And when people are busy reacting to that hard check, it's so easy to nail them in the face.
It really is.
Like, really, especially without shin guards. Like, I was like, all right, she's gonna do it this round, and she never did it. So womp womp. But other than that, I was pretty happy with the fight. I was just a little sad that she didn't come forward, because I feel like that's when you're able to land your best stuff, is when they actually fight you. And she was kind of stuck in the mud for the first 2 rounds. Yeah. Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
That's very kind of you.
I'm like, damn it.
I think she too was also pretty upset.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, we both could have had a fun night. We could have got fight a night bonus or something like that.
Absolutely.
Just like, try and knock me out next time.
Yeah, just try and throw.
It's the worst that could happen.
Yeah.
Just do it. But there were some pretty gnarly fights on the card. Did you watch it?
I did. But mostly I was buzzed for it because you're fighting. So I'm like, I need
I blacked out. Yeah.
I need a stress reliever.
I don't think I
can't handle this. Yeah, it's really challenging.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I can focus after a friend fights, like, especially a close friend. I'm just like, thank God they won, or oh my God, I can't believe they lost. And then like the rest of the fights, I'm just like, fuck this guy, fuck this. Like, I don't care, because it's just either that, or if there's a headliner that I'm really looking forward to, I'm relieved once my friend fights, because then I'm like, okay, now I can watch this fight and not be all stressed out.
Yeah, I get pretty stressed out when people I care about fight. So it's just, that's the only fight that I'm waiting for, that I'm focusing on. And after that, I'm just like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah. Who won again? What happened?
What happened? I don't know.
What happened? Did you watch Kevin Holland versus Wonderboy?
I did. And I do remember that one.
Yeah.
I do, because that one, that was a really interesting fight. I thought that matchup could potentially be really exciting, and it was. I think that was the most exciting fight that Wonderboy's ever been in.
Yeah, because he had to fight.
He really, and he fought.
Yeah,
it was really impressive. There's there's a lot of like really good takeaways from that fight. I don't know what it was about. I feel like there was some sort of weird martial arts kind of agreement, like a gentleman's agreement going on.
Yeah.
Because Holland took down Wonderboy like a couple of times really solidly and had control like top position, and he did not capitalize on it at all, and he just stood up. And I just felt, I was like, did they like have a gentleman's agreement? Was there some sort of thing that happened between two traditional martial artists that happened? Because this is really strange. Like,
wasn't it Kung Fu versus karate?
Is that what it was about?
I think that's what happened, but it could have also been because he broke his hand. Because that happened in the later rounds, the takedowns, and he might have just not felt like dealing with grabbing and holding with a broken hand. It's easier to move and then just touch.
I would rather fight for control on the ground, worrying than worry about punching someone.
Yeah.
Because it's like essentially one of your weapons is taken away. And I know one of your weapons is taken away in a grappling, kind of situation. But I feel like he could have, grabbed his wrist or, just done something else with control, use his body weight, just give himself a little bit more of a scoring opportunity. And that could have really made the difference in the scoring of the fight.
Yeah. I don't know. It's he makes weird decisions because I don't know. I do feel like it would be really painful to grapple with a broken hand. Like
sure.
Like the adrenaline only takes care of so much, and when you're grappling, that's like constant contact,
Yeah, but I've
like
fought with broken hand multiple times.
And it's not like you're happier on your feet.
I don't want to throw. I'm like, this hurts so much. I'll do it. It's just, that's how I imagine it is in a grappling situation. Like it hurts, but I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Or I'll get to a position where, maybe I'm, using my legs a little bit more or just trying to advance in position and see where I can get rather than just bailing, because when you're standing up, that is one less weapon that you have.
Yeah.
And against a really tricky, very unique styled Wonderboy, it's just I mean, he was doing well, don't get me wrong.
He was
doing well.
I think he used his hand just as much as he could have on the ground too, though.
Yeah.
And it could just be a comfortability thing, like what we were talking about. Like it could, like I feel like I would probably be more comfortable standing with a broken hand than on the ground, because maybe I don't engage my hips as much as you do, or maybe I'm not like as good at my transitions and able to wing it when every time I base on my hand it hurts. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So it could just be a difference in that. But Kevin Holland is a black belt. Like he knows how to do shit down there. We've seen him do it multiple times. So, yeah, I wonder if it's just he feels more fluid on the feet, or he wanted to respect the agreement, or
I don't know.
But
feel
it
like
was
there
definitely
was some weird kind of handshake, gentleman's agreement that happened maybe in like one of their passings.
Yeah.
They were hanging out all week. Have you ever hung out with an opponent during fight week?
No. I mean, I wouldn't be
I
surprised if you were hanging out with Dakota during my fight week. Y'all are all buddy now.
I'm just saying
she was not nice to me, by the way. After I didn't even see her. But I tried to like.
Don't talk about my friend like that.
I tried to like give her a hug after the fight, and she was like pulling away from me. Like when I tried to hug her.
Angela, to be fair. You punched her a lot.
I tried to hug her at weigh-ins too, and she pulled away from me. And it's like, when you're at like a family event and that creepy uncle comes over and gives you a hug. Like she gave me the same tension. She gave me the same like, don't touch me. But she just like tensed up. Didn't return the hug at all. Just like.
No.
Make it stop. She did that both times, after the fight and before. So it wasn't because of punch in the face.
Well, she was very nice to me.
Well, same kind of white, I guess.
Oh, you're so funny.
Oh. What can I say? I've always been an opposites attract kind of girl. Maybe it's just me.
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I've never ever been buddy like that. Like I'll make a joke, or crack a smile or shake a hand, but I'm not hanging out, having a conversation about life, like trying to know you as a person. Like, fuck that. I want you to be this thing, this evil thing that I have to destroy. Like, I don't want to know about your kids and your hopes and dreams. That humanizes you, and I don't want that. I don't want you to be humanized.
See,
at
after
all.
the fight, that's okay.
Yeah.
Before
after
the fight,
no.
it's unnecessary. I feel like that can actually be kind of like some sort of a mental warfare.
Yeah, I don't like.
You know
I
what I'm
don't
saying?
want compassion for my opponent. I'm gonna think twice about punching them in the face when they look sad. You know, like, I'd be like, oh, you thought you were gonna win, didn't you? Like, I don't want to do that. Yeah,
That was cute.
that's my punch. Boop. Significant strike. Boop.
Man, that's how I felt kind of weird like the last fight week that I had that didn't end up happening.
Oh yeah,
Because Tabitha,
baby shark.
knock it off. That's your friend.
Yeah. What about her?
Anyways,
We love that nickname.
it's hard because like seeing her, you know, in passing, like coming out of the UFC office, that was, you know, I mean, I can be cordial, I can be very professional and stuff like that, but she
Yeah.
went over and hugged you.
Oh, me.
Yeah, and I was like,
Tabitha did?
yes, she did.
Oh, and she didn't hug
And you
you?
embraced her. She said
Oh,
hi.
yeah, 'cause
she said
we-
hi, but she's like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's my friend." Kind of like what Lupe did when I was fighting her. She ran up.
Oh,
She's like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, can I have a hug?" I'm like, "Stop hugging my friend."
Dude, everyone loves me.
I know it really pisses me off. I'm like,
See-
"Can you stop? That's my friend."
Maybe that's why I was so taken aback when she was pulling away from me. I'm like, don't you know that everyone loves me?
Everybody loves me.
You're supposed to love me too. I don't understand. You only love Jess. This is a problem.
This is weird because this never happens.
This is a problem. She also didn't hug me after your fight.
What?
Yeah. She came in and she hugged you and was like, oh my God, it's such an honor to fight you, blah, blah, blah. I'm a
I
big
thought
fan.
she said the same thing to you.
She looked me up and down and left the room.
No, she didn't. To Cody, why?
She don't like me.
Well, now she really doesn't like
Yeah, I
you.
know, right? I
now
didn't
she
help the
definitely. Now
case.
you definitely lost that. You lost that friendship. That's never going to be a thing.
Hey, maybe we'll train one day. We can work it out. Work out our differences.
Just go punch each other until the point of tears, and then go hug afterwards.
We'll just
and
fight
then-
over you. Girls, you
Stop,
can both
please,
have me.
please stop, stop.
You're recording. Stop it. World star.
Me? This is about me.
Why? It's okay. It really kills my plants. Keep going. Oh my God. Well, you know, I've sparred Baby Shark before leading up to a fight. So we
Yes.
have that connection by punching, shared punches in the face.
Yeah, I get it.
And now you're rebooked.
Now I'm rebooked.
We can announce that for our cheap YouTubers.
I know you guys missed the actual announcement. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You're
okay.
just the last to know.
Sucks
How does
to
that
be
feel?
you. Does it feel cheap?
That's exactly what it feels like.
Hey, we've been there.
One of the things about last fight week as well was that she was handing out like little like shark, like baby shark things, like little
Yeah.
trinkets, and like she was like the mayor of the freaking Apex and
Wow.
the PI, and I'm in there getting worked on, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's so sweet. She just gave me this and this and this," and then they're like, "Oh, Jess, who are you fighting?" Her. The really cute, adorable social one that's like really nice and outgoing. The one that you're rooting for. Yeah, I'm fighting that one.
I've always been more of a Daria than a Quinn girl, though.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so she's very much a Quinn.
I'm like, I hate her because she's the opposite of everything I am.
Yeah, she's so fun.
She's
and
so
bubbly,
cute and sweet
and everyone
adorable.
loves her. You need to
Yay.
figure out your own thing that you can give out. Do like condoms or something. I don't know. You know those condoms they have in the bathroom and like the trashiest clubs? You should give those out. Put like your face on it. At least it's something you can use. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do with a shark keychain? Like, I'm not gonna put that on my fucking keys. You know, like, no, give them something they can use, something that they
like
don't
a two straws keychain,
like a 2 straws condom.
Those should exist.
Yeah, right?
Those should definitely exist. Okay, I'm gonna write this down.
I bet we can get some. I bet it's the same place that makes like those stickers that you can get, the bumper stickers and stuff. I bet they make customized condom wrappers.
It can't be just me because, again, people like you, not me. I'm Angela Hill's friend.
They might think it's a come on with you. Be like, wait,
whereas
does she have a
they'll
boyfriend?
be like, oh, that's just Angela.
Oh, she's just so silly.
She's just so funny.
She's
Always
so
cracking
fun,
jokes.
silly.
Yeah, everybody loves her.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing I want everyone in the UFC to think of when they're ripping it open is me and Jess. Me and Jess's podcast.
I just think that is a great marketing opportunity, you know?
All right, we'll get them. We got a lot of time.
Plenty of time.
March 4th?
March 4th.
March 4th. So be ready to see some 2 straws condoms in the bathroom at the Apex. Or oh wait, no, it's gonna be an arena, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be at the T-Mobile.
Nice.
But
right.
we can still spread the love.
We need boxes of it.
We do. We need to make it rain.
Boxes.
Make it rain.
Oh,
Safety first.
Yes, we care.
It's important.
It is.
Yes,
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
So there was a lot of crazy drama circling around this last fight card.
Oh.
UFC 282. Man, talking about wrapping it up, man. Ariel Helwani was just he was on fire. He was just like, hey, I got a bone to pick with these people, and I'm going to spend an hour of my podcast to tell you guys. And apparently, Monday, he spent another 20 minutes. Just closing the door. I didn't listen to it, so I can't really comment on it. But someone was telling me about it, and I'm like, well, he's thorough.
I mean, he does have his own, media to express himself, and that's what he gets to use it for. I get it. You get another drink, babe?
Yes. Personally, if it didn't affect my future fights, I'd spend plenty of hours shitting on all the judges who have done me wrong. So I don't blame them. I would gladly, if people would listen, I would gladly spend multiple hours just ripping them apart. But
I get it.
I have future decisions to think about.
Just put that on the to-do list.
Oh, yes.
For, another place, another time.
Yes.
After retirement.
Yeah.
When you're writing your memoirs.
Yeah. Or when I get better at finishing people. Maybe I can just... I'm like, all right, you motherfuckers, I got my first submission in the UFC. You're done. I don't need you anymore.
Not coming back from this one.
Yeah. So I don't blame him. But I did think it was pretty funny how both sides were just going back and forth and spending a lot of energy talking about this. I don't know. I feel like it was like a minor thing.
It was a minor
happened.
thing that became a huge thing.
Yeah, it just snowballed.
It did.
Yeah.
Do you want to share what that issue exactly was?
So the first I heard about it was a clip, because I don't watch these podcasts, but everyone's talking about it, so I guess I'll paraphrase from the little bit that I saw. But first I saw a clip from Paddy's podcast with him and Dana, and they're talking about Ariel Helwani, and of course Dana gets all like,
this is my moment.
Oh, it's like, don't bring up Douglas Crosby on a podcast with me. I will get comfortable. I'll start flexing. Yeah. So this is Dana's favorite subject.
Yeah, everybody has one.
Yeah, I hate Ariel Helwani, and you can tell by his gleeful grin. But they started talking about him, and Paddy brings up this moment that he had an interview booked in New York, and it was a paid interview, and Helwani hit him up or has how he puts it, Hawani hit him up. It was like, hey, come do this interview. I have these times. And Paddy's like, oh, I can't do that time because I have a paid interview. If you want to pay me, then I'll do your interview instead. And Ariel's like, no, it's more exposure, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I got to do the paid interview. So that's how Paddy put it. And then he said that Ariel Helwani put him on blast on his show and was telling everyone that Paddy's manager asked him for payment for an interview and that it was fucked up. So apparently this didn't happen, or at least the name wasn't dropped. But people put two and two together because Graham posted something about fighters needing to get paid for their interviews when they do interviews. And Ariel Helwani saying, this random fighter asked me to pay him for an interview. It's never happened before. People put two and two together and people were talking about it. So the internet did their homework and they found out that what had happened.
Yeah.
So really, it really just seems like if this were put to rest, then no one would have known about it. But both parties said things, people were able to do the math, and now it's an issue. But this was a long time ago when Paddy was in New York, I think earlier this year. So Helwani got really upset about Paddy posting this and went back, took out his receipts, and showed what he said during his podcast. He showed all the text message, or read all the text messages that he had between Paddy and Graham, manager, about them asking to be on the show. But then when he had something booked, they decided not to do it because it wasn't a paid interview. So that's pretty much the whole story. But I think it took an hour instead of the 5 minutes that it took me because Ariel had to respond to the Dana hate, and he had to respond to the Paddy hate, and he had to respond to Graham putting him on blast. So he's responded to all these people, and I guess it was a big deal because a lot of people were really upset about our video where we made fun of Ariel Helwani.
Listen.
But
it was in jest.
It was in jest. And anyone who thought we were just making fun of Ariel is maybe my accent isn't good enough. maybe it's bad on my part. I need to go back to Scouser acting school.
We'll practice again. We'll do another skit, another segment. There will be another opportunity because Paddy is always in the media.
Oh yes.
He's MMA's like favorite guy right now.
Yeah.
So there will always be.
He's the golden child with the golden mushroom hair.
And he always says something funny and outlandish, and there's always going to be an opportunity for it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I will have another chance to shine.
Yes, you will.
And get Paddy hate instead of Helwani hate.
Don't you worry. Oh, I got plenty of Helwani hate.
But that's how you know it was good. Like,
it made somebody feel something.
It was literally like good people on both sides. One side were the people who were just like, you didn't ever watch the video. And then the other side was like, damn, that's a spot on Helwani. So I don't know. I think people were taken aback by your acting skills. Good job. Very good. I was very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, if we can't laugh at ourselves, if we can't make fun of ourselves, then like what's...
MMA is ridiculous.
It is. It is insane.
It is a ridiculous sport.
It really is. We fight in a cage. I'm not taking myself too seriously.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the next skit we decide to do.
Me too. I can't wait.
The more controversial, the better.
I know.
Even though it wasn't controversy, it's just he said, she said drama.
It's pretty funny. But I do like that people, I got to say, I like that people are so passionate about the sport.
Right.
I really do. Because, I mean, back in my day, like nobody cared about MMA. And now we're picking sides. We're drawing hard lines in the sand. We're getting like emotionally riled up to the point where we're going to comment on people's pages. And we're going to do research to find out what's happening in MMA. I I think that's really exciting, actually. I think that's really awesome because
we're almost a real sport.
Almost.
We're so close.
So we're going to make it, kids.
Yeah.
We're going to make it. And it's thanks to you guys.
Yeah. Hopefully
Keep it going.
before I retire.
Maybe not before I retire, but definitely before you.
Nah, I think we're neck and neck on retirement
On the
days.
cusp.
Yeah. We'll probably close it out together.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Aww.
Maybe we can have him book us to fight, and then we just like do that thing you do in jiu-jitsu tournaments. It's just like take a bow. Like we cut weight and everything for it, and we go and scene. Yes. Oh, they won't even give us our show money.
Oh, they'll give it to us. I'm not leaving that cage without it.
They're like, excuse me. This is a draw. Pay up. Pay up, motherfuckers.
It's the last time you're going to have to pay us. Just pay it.
Yeah, just do it. We're retired. Fight a night too, please.
Yes. Please and thank you. And
it's
residuals.
never been done before. It deserves fight a night, at least.
Nobody would ever expect it.
No. You're like, these bitches are dumb. Really? That's what you're going to do for your last fight? A whole career down the toilet.
Go out the way we want to go out.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
What better way than our way?
My perfect age for that would be 52. So stay in shape.
Oh my God.
We could do a catch weight. Okay.
Okay.
There were other fights on the card, but we have to talk about the other controversy.
Give her another drink. Adam, we need another drink, sir.
I need to not say controversy right more. With the judging,
Bro.
poor Jerry Gordon.
Yeah. I feel like everybody says this. There needs to be accountability for the judges. But what does that look like? I mean, nobody's really said specifically what it could possibly look like. I have a couple ideas, and these are not like well thought out, but I'm just, shooting from the hip. But I like the idea of possibly like every 6 months or every year, they like have to go sit in front of a panel.
Yeah.
And they have to fucking explain themselves.
Yeah.
And their decision making. And then, or like along with that, every 6 months to a year, like they have to go through some sort of like re-upping the criteria of judging. Because I feel like it's still not clear. And these are people that continuously sit on the side of the octagon and judge these fights, and they're still, I'm like, where's the disconnect?
Right.
Like, what are you not seeing and what is unclear? Because it's clear to most people, casual or not.
Yeah.
It's clear to most people that there is an issue, and they're clear on the criteria. Why are you not?
Yeah. It's one thing I like to look at are the media scores, because there's that other table where all the media is sitting and they can do play-by-plays and all that stuff. They'll all score the fight how they see it in the moment too.
Yes.
And you can't blame the angles, like, because a lot of people want to say a fight looks different in person than it does on TV. But you can't blame the media scores on that, because they might have a little monitor, but they're mostly looking at the cage. They can see the same thing that the judges can see. So that is not enough to make up for that disconnect. And also, I don't know, I feel like reffing has gotten a lot better, because they give the refs hell when they mess up. Like poor Herb Dean.
Oh my gosh.
Like
people have lost their jobs. Why have judges not lost their jobs?
Exactly.
When they're it's the same people making the same decisions, and they're not like making like, so roughing is hard. You're in the heat of the moment. You're a human being. You have emotions. Like, there are certain things that I understand there's room for human error, and they are held extremely accountable. Like they've lost their jobs over this. And the judges do not have that same
like visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see a judge walking through the crowd and go, oh, that's that judge. You know, you see any referee in the UFC walking through the crowd, you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
You might not know his name, but you know him. Like, you know that guy. You've seen him ref a bunch of fights. And these judges are there just as much as the referees. They're the same fucking people every time. And the one that I keep going back to, Douglas Crosby.
Your buddy.
I fucking like this guy. He does this all the time, and he's been on record saying that he'll judge a fight opposite for fun. Like, and who's gonna stop him? He said that, and he still has a job.
Yeah.
So it really is crazy that this guy, he didn't make the news because nobody cares, but he was at Bellator the night before. He scored a title fight 50-45 for the guy that lost. 50-45. No way either of them got 50-45. He did the same thing for me in my limos fight. No reason, no one should have gotten 30-27 except for me. He scored limos 30-27. Everyone saw the first 2 rounds the same. 1 round for limos, 1 round for me. 3rd round was the one that was up in the air. Most people thought I got the win. Like media scores, everyone but one thought it was 29-28 me. He scored 30-27 for limos. Same thing he did. Well, I don't know if he did. I don't think it was all the rounds, but he scored 2 rounds for Paddy Pimblett that night, and then the other 2 judges scored it accordingly. And it's like, it just sucks that, these guys are talking. These guys are friends, they're buddies, they hang out at bars after fights. Like, they know each other. There's no reason why they aren't corrupting the system. They can know how to do their job fine. But the fact that there's no accountability, you can not do your job right on purpose and nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
So that's what I hate about judging, because the more I go to fights, the more I see how tight-knit of a community everyone is, like not just the people doing the production side, but the commissions, like, the refs, the doctors, they all know each other. Like, everyone is a tight-knit community.
Yeah, they see each other every weekend.
Yeah, so it's super easy to imagine that people are getting together to make fights go a certain way.
It's possible. It's not...
And some people
it's not outlandish to say that.
It's not. And I know I'm going to look like a cuckoo head for saying it, but it's not. And the more times it happens to me, the more I'm like, well, there you go. There's my point. But on top of that, it's... Now I lost my train of thought. But, if you had that thing that we were talking about, that accountability where you have the visibility of the judges, you see their face next to their score, or you see them in the on the side of the cage, and people are pointing them out like, this is that guy, that guy, they have this angle, then I do feel like it'll force them to be a little more accountable, because people are going to hate them and they're going to know what they look like, and they're going to tell them about it. You know what I mean? I
feel like that's fair, because I've been fighting for how many years? I've cornered, I've fought, I've done all that stuff, and I still could not really point out one of them in a crowd.
No. I just saw a picture of one of them, and I see him every time I'm there. And I'm like, oh, this guy, I wonder what he does, But you don't know. Luckily, it was a judge that I like. So I wasn't like, that fucking guy, I've been nice to him all this time. I should have punched him in the head. But you don't recognize these people. And I think it would make more sense if we did, if we knew who they were, if we could ask them a question like, hey, why'd you score my fight that way? You can't even do that.
Yeah. Like,
there's no way to create a conversation where you as a fighter learn how to make a fight look better to them. Right. And the only way to do that is to try to take it up with the commission, which they will deny, because there's no way to overturn a fight unless something really, really crazy against the written rules happens.
Yeah.
So this is the sport we're in.
I know.
Yeah.
It's, if we think about it, it's still like really young. I can't say that it's necessarily in its infancy, but it is just getting that, mainstream recognition, attention, and consistent fan base. And so I feel like eventually it's going to have to change, because enough people are identifying that there's an issue. There's nothing being done about it, but eventually something has to be done. I mean, enough people are saying it. It's at least a conversation. I just don't know where or how we get it to be a big enough issue, or a bit how we can bring it to attention and actually get heard.
Yeah.
Because there's enough fights that go terribly wrong on the judges' scorecard. So it's just, how do we actually like create change?
Yeah. It's and I feel like it's never going to happen, just because you look at a sport like boxing and it's the same story. You know, you have these, every now and then you'll have just like a fight that everyone's watching, high profile fight, and the scorecards are all over the place, and it looks like someone got paid off to score it a certain way.
Yeah.
And boxing fans are like, this is rigged. It's rigged. So boxing is one of the oldest sports that exists now that have that type of scoring. And I just think it's unfixable, because scoring something in that way is so arbitrary, and it's easy to just make up a reason. Like, you can make a case for anything. You know, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say that because he was backing up and throwing punches and not connecting, he was leading the fight. You know, like there are ways to finagle a reason to score a round for someone even though they didn't deserve it.
Sure.
Especially if it's close. And like, let's be honest, like, even though it looked like Jared Gordon won those fights or won those rounds, it was still kind of close. Like, I remember when he got reversed in the third round, where like,
oh, shoot. That may have just stole the round.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was so little done. He had great control. And I mean, I heard on the post-fight press conference what Dana was doing, you know, saying about Jared
he's
Gordon.
painting the picture.
Yeah.
You know?
But it was also, I mean, it was kind of fair. It was a fair critique. That he had the opportunity to, you know, go forward, and like, you know, it could have been up in the air, 1-1, that kind of thing. Like, why wouldn't you step on the gas? Why would you, you know, shove him up against the cage and just try and control and not land any kind of strikes? And then so that big of a movement towards the end of a fight is going to be, you know, in the judge's eyes.
Yeah.
I like Paddy. I don't think that should have been the win, who was given the win. I just don't. But I can also see why people would, you know, try and give it to him. Yeah. Because he had some very big moments, but I just think, like, the scorecard showed that Gordon had, like, outstruck him, or at least, you know, power punch wise, or what do they call it?
Significant
strikes. Oh my God. What are those anyways? But anyways, let's not even get started on that.
Don't get me started on
I know.
I'll spend a whole hour on him, even though I don't care about him.
I know, but there's a difference.
Yeah.
And then, you know, cage control time and all this kind of stuff. He had more takedowns. And so I just saw Gordon doing more effectiveness. And I understand that Paddy had some big moments. He landed some hard strikes, and he was, you know, still in the fight. It was a competitive fight. I just thought that Gordon won.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I can't say I didn't agree with you, you know? And the only reason we thought that was because Paddy was such a big name. And a lot of times when you have big names, the tiniest excuse to take a round, they'll use it. You know, like the one wobble, one punch that wobbles them, but then they lose the rest of the round. That could be enough to score it for the guy who's more popular. So that's what we have to deal with now as fighters. Like, look at a lot of people were bringing up Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley. That was way more of a robbery in my eyes.
Yeah,
but. Do people even remember that? Like,
I do.
Yeah, they'll remember it when you talk about that fight in general. But if you're saying, "Oh, O'Malley's on a streak, he's going to fight for the title," people are going to be like, "Yeah, cool." You know, especially the fans, especially the O'Malley fans. Now, one thing Paddy did do that was very impressive was lose just as many fans as he gained this week with the Helwani stuff, with, I guess, just being very obnoxious after the fight, not accepting that people thought it was a robbery, just kind of like, he played the heel bit this week. And I think in a way that's going to keep people talking about him longer than if he was more gracious this week.
See, I did see a different layer to Paddy this whole fight week. Mm-hmm. And I really started liking him, and I was like, found him so endearing, especially, his post-fight interview the previous time.
Oh, yeah.
Where he lost his friend, and he showed up with, the armband like in his honor and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he was just really speaking from the heart, and
the dog thing too.
Yes. And it's
what a good
a
good lad.
He just seems like a sweetie, like he really does. And my limited experience with him, he seems like a really awesome guy. And I don't know exactly what it was this week that was different than all the that caused the change, I guess you could say. I don't know what the difference was, but it was definitely a different vibe. It was definitely a different energy. Yeah, it could be. I don't know that to be true for a fact.
I don't know anything. But that's my guess.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't know how many fans he actually lost, though. Is it like noticeable on his?
No, I think it's only noticeable in comments. I think his numbers probably went up. More people see him, more people show up to hate on his page. That's creating more traffic to his page. Like, it's kind of like our video.
I love it.
It's I
love it.
Like people showing up to write mean comments on our video just pushes it to thousands and thousands of more people.
I just want to ask, who hurt you? Who hurt you enough in your life that you feel that it is necessary to go out of your way and to spread your energy in that way? You're better than that.
Do better, people.
Better than that.
Hawani's friends commented nice things on it.
It wasn't. It
his
really
real
was,
friends, not his flunky followers.
I know. And honestly, you've been in this sport long enough. Everyone's gonna get it. I've been on the end of some pretty fucking awful things.
Oh yeah,
pretty awful things. And you know what?
I think the most offensive thing was that women were funny.
I saw that. I was like, bro.
No, I'm saying the most offensive thing to them is that we were being funny.
Oh, no, they went out of their way to tell us that we're not funny.
Yeah, because we were. They want us to know that we should stop. Yeah. Because we make them uncomfortable. Little bitch boys. Just because you can't make your girlfriend laugh doesn't mean we can't.
Oh, they don't actually have a girlfriend. Stop
No,
it.
I know.
Stop.
The girl that you jerk it to.
Yeah.
Back of her head.
It's just
in class.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's about that time that we go to our exclusive 15 minutes. What should we talk about?
I got a few things.
You want to give them a couple bullets so they
sample?
So they sub?
No, actually.
Should I take my slipper off?
Can I take your slipper off?
Oh, yeah. We'll be right back.